In this video, I want to take a look at USC, who's currently rated number 2 in the way too early 2024-25 ESPN Women's College Basketball Rankings. The number 2 ranking is not surprising as they bring back JuJu Watkins, who was spectacular in her freshman season. In addition, they have the number 1 recruiting class in the nation coming in, and it's pretty clear they won the portal, scoring Kiki Arioffen and Talia von Oelhoffen. So no doubt this all looks good on paper, but can all the parts come together, and should they be ranked number 2? That is what we are going to take a look at, all of these different parts, and see how they might come together. But before we start, if you enjoyed the video, then please give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel. All right, let's get into this. After the dust has pretty much settled from the transfer portal, I think it's pretty clear Southern Cal has a strong starting 4. So Rhea Marshall at center, who's 6'4". She went for 10 points, 10 rebounds, 2 blocks, and had a good efficiency of 47%. As well, obviously, they scored Kiki Arioffen in the portal, who will play power forward. She is 6'3", went for 19 points, 11 rebounds, and also shot for 54%. Now, backing up their 2 bigs will be Clarice Akinwafu, who is 6'6" and can eat up minutes if required. USC is also settled in the guard position. Obviously, JuJu Watkins will be the off guard. She is long at 6'2". She averaged 27 points last season, 7 assists. Her efficiency wasn't great, so she shot 40% from the field. Her effective field goal shooting was 44%, as she was just over 30% at 31% from the three-point line. Now, the other guard will be Talia von Oelhoffen. She is 5'11", obviously from Oregon State, as they got dismantled. She went for 10 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds last season. Her efficiency as well isn't the greatest. She shot 38% last season from the floor. Now, Oelhoffen can bring up the ball, but she's not a natural point guard. Like, they tended to have Hunter for Oregon State bring up the ball for them, and she would be on the wing trying to cook a bit and trying to get points. Her big moment last year was obviously hitting the walk-off three-point shot versus UCLA. In terms of next season with Southern Cal, I suspect it will be a bit of a puzzle on how they fit the parts in around these 4 pieces, and they have a lot of options. With the players brought in from their number 1 recruiting class, as well as returning players from last season's teams. I will first go through the players returning from last year who are more the point guard variety. So Malia Samuels is 5'6". She was rated number 49 in the 2023 class and only averaged 8.7 minutes last season. The most she got last year in terms of playing time was against Long Beach State. I think she got like 22 minutes as JuJu Watkins was out. She's that classic point guard type. The other player returning fighting for minutes is Dominique Darius, who's 5'10", and she averaged 8.7 minutes last year. The other player returning is Aaliyah Gale. She's a 5'9" point guard. Now, she was highly rated coming out of high school, out of Vegas, but then she was tragically involved in a shooting at a house party, and last year was her first year to return, and she had limited minutes, so see how she continues to recover. Hopefully it goes well and she just gets better and better, but it's really just good that she was able to get back on the court again. Now, the reason I think those players are fighting for the backup point guard spot is because their incoming class is highly rated, and the best prospect out of those is Kennedy Smith, who's rated number 6. She's 6'1". She's a wing player, and you think the natural fit would be to put her at the forward spot. As she's athletic and slash to the basket, and she can shoot, should go well, and that would be my projection for the starting lineup. I think Kennedy Smith will be a starter at the small forward spot, and then they'll have JuJu at one guard and Talia von Oelhoffen at the other guard. But she is not the only wing that's coming into this class. So they also have Avery Howell, who's rated number 16. Now, she's a bit smaller. She's 5'11", but she plays that guard wing spot. She has a good shot. She seems to be able to finish through contact. Southern Cal also has one more that's quite similar to her. So Ryan Foistier, she's rated number 54. She's also 5'11", has a great shot, and can play sort of that combo guard forward slot. Now, the last forward coming in is Laura Williams. So she's rated number 92. She has height, much like Kennedy Smith, so she's 6'1". Her outside shot needs work. It's sort of like a push shot, and she seems just a little bit raw from the game highlights that I saw, but she's clearly athletic, so I think you would think she would be a bit of a project in that first year, or if she gets minutes, it would be more she'd be earning her minutes through defensive play. Now, the two remaining recruits I haven't mentioned are both point guard prospects. So Kayla Heckel is rated number 13. She's from New York. And she just seems like a tough point guard. She's listed at 5'9". She can get to the basket as well. She has a nice little pull-up jumper and just seems in control of the game and seems like a pest on defense. The final recruit is Brooklyn Shamblin, who's a point guard. She's a 3-star prospect. She's left-handed. She can get to the basket, and she just controls the game. I'm not sure how much playing time she will get in her freshman year. I don't think she'll get a lot. So that is all the prospects and talent that Lisa Gottlieb has to work with. And the question is, how is she going to put it together? Will it be a three-way battle between Kennedy Smith, Avery Howell, and Ryan Foistier to see who wins that small forward spot? Or could it be a situation where they want more ball handling on the court and Kayla Heckel or one of the existing point guards like Mila Samuels go well in the early season and that's who they want, and they push JuJu or Von Oelhoffen to that forward spot? So they have so many options, and I think it's just going to be a little bit of a mix and match and see how they go. And a bit of figuring out what forward or what small forward we like the best and what point guard we like the best, because obviously depending on the matchup and the team they're facing, that's how they'll switch it up. But really the real key to Southern Cal's season next year is the maturation of JuJu Watkins. Can she turn into a different type of player? So I believe that last year, she did what was asked of her. So their best chance to win last year was take a lot of shots. We're going to put you in ISO a lot, and you're going to make it happen for us. And they had a very successful season. They won the Pac-12 tournament. They got to the Elite Eight and ultimately lost to UConn. And now I think that loss was good for them in the end, or good for her development, as it was a nice little example. You cannot do it all yourself, but as well, you cannot underestimate the fuel that will put on her fire and how much harder that is going to make her work in the off season. It was one of the things that Taurasi talked about when she was bemoaning the moving pick called on UConn, as she wanted to see Paige Beckers take that shot, and even if she missed it, she's like, that's the opportunity to get better as you learn from the pain of not succeeding, and that's what drives your game, and that's where you get your improvement from.
Either way. And it robbed Paige of an experience of either making a shot that could change her career, and also you miss that shot, and that propels you to a different level when that stays with you for a whole summer.
So I can't wait to watch the UConn on the 21st of December. I think it should be fantastic. I think the matchups are really good. They're strong, these teams, in different areas. So in the front court, I would say Southern Cal is proven up front, because you just don't know with El Alfie, because you just haven't seen it on the court, where Kiki Arioff and Marshall have played a couple of years and have done it and have proven they are performers. But then with UConn in the backcourt, they will have so much depth, and I suspect what their game plan for next year will be is to put a lot of pressure on the ball, rotate their guards, and constant pressure, because that's what they were talking about going into last season before all the injuries decimated them. And it's interesting, some of that depth, like Caitlin Chin, who they got through the transfer portal, in some ways I felt like Caitlin Chin would have been the perfect recruit to go to Southern Cal from a pure basketball standpoint, as she would have given them a proven ball handler to handle that sort of pressure defense and an experienced point guard, as that's the one area that Southern Cal is missing with this team. And it's really not an area that Talia Van Oelhoffen will fix. As I rewatched Oregon State versus South Carolina, and she struggled a bit when Raven Johnson put really tight pressure on her when she was bringing the ball up. And that's going to be the kryptonite for them and how they manage that. And the way that will be managed, obviously, is they have to develop one of the point guards, whether it be Samuels or Heckel, just to ensure that they have another way to go. And that's the beauty of this team, is all the pieces that they have will give them good flexibility in terms of how they match up against various opponents. And the final thing is their coach. I like Lindsay Gottlieb. I saw some comments on one of my videos. Some criticize her. I think she's a good coach and does a nice job. Like, it's her third year at USC. She got them to the tournament in her second year and Elite Eight last year. She took Cal to the Final Four. I think it's undeniable that she puts a good team together. She recruits well, and I like the way that she manages the team. I think you can see over the course of a season, her teams tend to get better. And I also think it's great that she agreed to the UConn matchup, as she wants tougher opponents to get her team better. It's all smart. Anyway, we'd love your thoughts on this. Do you think USC should be ranked number 2 ahead of number 3 UConn? And overall, do you see them making it to the Final Four and potentially winning the championship? Your thoughts, comments, poison, all welcome. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a good night.